Hello, my name is Maythee Rodríguez Lopez. I would like to present the assignment sampling article review and scale of measurement from statistics and probability class. The problem statement of this article was the studies on how to reduce the risk of developing breast cancer associated with higher levels of recreational physical activity. The gap of this article, it was not unable to find additional socioeconomic characteristics such as access to quality health care or psychosocial factors like depression and support that might affect cancer survival too. The purpose of the research was to demonstrate the beneficial influence of recreational physical activity on the survival of women diagnosed with breast cancer. The tentative research approach design was the deductive research approach. The type of study cross-sectional and retrospective. The procedures experimental. The methods quantitative and qualitative. The pickle questions. Will physical activity affect the survival rate of women with breast cancer? Here you can see the information. It is worth noting that a subsequent quantitative examination was directed at 1,264 women between the ages of 20 and 54. Who were not in the habit of doing recreational physical exercise, who was diagnosed with malignant breast growth between 1990 and 1992. It differs from the group of women who habitually got used to recreational physical exercise and were in good health, both physically and emotionally. Hypothesis. Null hypothesis. Cancer survival among women with breast cancer is not affected by physical activity. Alternative hypothesis. An increasing rate of surviving breast cancer is associated with higher levels of recreational physical activity. The hypothesis data. An increasing rate of surviving breast cancer is associated with higher levels of recreational physical activity. The results. Further research affirms that physical movement decreases mortality among ladies with breast cancer. Conclusion. The result of this examination gave some intriguing proof to a helpful impact on the endurance of recreational physical activity embraced in the prior year determination, especially among ladies who are overweight close to the time of diagnosis. Population. In statistics, the term population is characterized as the total set of observations that can be made. In the research paper that I choose, Recreational Physical Activity and Survival Among Young Women with Breast Cancer, the writer established the population as 1,264 women ages 20 to 54 years who were diagnosed with invasive breast cancer between 1990 and 1992. Sample. In statistics, the term sample is a portion of the data you get from a part of a population. In the research paper that I choose, Recreational Physical Activity and Survival Among Young Women with Breast Cancer, the writer established as a sample 482 women that had a BMI over 25, meaning they were overweight or obese. Variable. The two principal variables in an experiment are the independent and dependent variable. An independent variable is a variable that is modified or regulated in an experiment to examine the impacts on the dependent variable. In this case, the independent variable will be the recreational physical activity. However, a dependent variable is a variable being tested and measured in an experiment that will be the survival among women with breast cancer. Hypothesis. The null hypothesis states that there is no statistical significance between the two variables, while the alternative hypothesis is the opposite. It is the one that state there is a statistically significant relationship between two observations. Null hypothesis. Cancer survival among women with breast cancer is not affected by physical activity. Alternative hypothesis. An increasing rate of surviving breast cancer is associated with higher levels of recreational physical activity. Bias in research. Any inclination or variation from the accuracy in data compilation, report, study, and publication is called bias. Bias in research can happen both intentionally and unintentionally. Bias creates erroneous results and is slightly misleading. Thus, it is not right and deceptive to lead one side to explore. For instance, the review that was utilized in the investigation did not get some information about interest in a comprehensive rundown of exercise. Neither did it consider for the time utilized in every action. What is more, it did include work-related or home obligations, which might have prompted additional bias. Level of measurements. In the research, they use the 4 levels of measurement.